Hello, Teresa here. This is going to be a little bit of a strange video. It started in November and it was intended as a Christmas project for across the Christmas period. But things took a really strange turn, as my Facebook group know, and I was without my PC for 3 weeks. It involves being part of a scam, and the fraud police were involved and the banks were involved, and it got really horrible. But it's all over. But as I came out of that, I think that was now mid-December, my purse was stolen at Victoria coach station, and my bank things were in there again. So again, I was without money. My PC was now being cleaned. It had to be professionally cleaned. It was just some sort of awful time. I mean, it was just a personal problem. It wasn't the end of the world. But it did mean that I couldn't make any videos or use my PC. So that is why there's been quite a gap in the last video and this, and I do apologise. If I can just warn you all, please be careful who you answer your phone to and give your details to. It was entirely my fault. I was very ill, and I didn't realise I was being scammed by someone posing from my bank. This is the Momogami project that we made towards the end of last year, and I decided to keep my passport in it and travel sickness pills and things like that for going away. And it really stood up to the test of travelling. It had all the documents in there, and as you can see, my travel sickness pills, which really didn't work, but in and out suitcases and being shown here, there and everywhere, and it really is good. At the moment it's in my drawer, and it's just ready for the next trip, whenever that is. And the bulldog clip, as you know, is to close it, to keep it closed, stopped everything falling out. And I think you should really have a go if you haven't. Now, before I left home to go to Germany to sit to the Christmas markets, I prepared a stack, well actually 9 to 12 4.5-inch squares to make a gift bag. Now there is a little bit of an issue over this gift bag, as you'll see later on, but the main thing is I start making the squares 4.5 inches square, and then I just cut strips like these, and I think we have done this before. All of them will be tacked down first, just great big stitches to hold them in place. You might even want to run a little bit of paper glue over them at the back to hold them, but you can see here, great big stitches. Now we're not worried about those because they will come out. Maybe that there. Oh, maybe that there. We'll see. Right, so yeah, I think I'm going to put that one there, put that there, and I'm just very carefully overlapping the edges slightly. So I'm going to tack that one there. Look, great big stitches, no fuss, no problem. You just do it your way, and then that one will go there. Now, as you can see here, I'm keeping the zigzag bit along here. These are all bits from samples, and as I said, most of them are out of the rag bag, but they were initially samples, and they were all cut nicely with the pinking shears. But I'm leaving those just for added interest, so I might put that one round there so you can actually see that. And then I'll tack this in place. Now, as you can see, I'm using my trusty big needle, and every time I use it I say, oh, I just love this needle, love it so much. I've got 2 of them on the go at the moment, but I did actually mislay this one and I panicked. How ridiculous is that, panicking? So these are just now held in place. They're tacked or basted, wherever, that depends on wherever you come from. And now I'm just going to do our long stitch. It's either long stitch or running stitch or slow stitch. You can call this stitch whatever you want. Now, what colour shall I use? I think I'm going to use a purple, and hopefully, oh no, that's not purple, is it? I'm going to use something bright. Oh, here, something loud that you can see. Now, I'll probably do about 9 of these because I'd like to get a nice square. The front of whatever I'm making in it. Yeah, it looks as if it's going to be a gift bag. I want it nice and square, but I want the interest on the front and not so much on the back. Right, so I'm using 6 strands. 6 strands, nice knot in the back, oh sorry, at the end. Then we're going to come through the back, and you know the rest. Near the edge, I'm going to make my stitches. These may be 1/4 of an inch or so long, but even so, we're not really that bothered. We're just going to enjoy it. This can be mindful. So I'm going to cover this in this long slow stitch. It's taking on so many names now, this, that you can call it whatever you like. Just make your own rules up and do what you like. Now I'm going to leave a space, and that once again may be 1/4 of an inch. I wouldn't leave a space much, well, I wouldn't leave a space longer than that. And I'm just going to go across all these pieces to hold them down. So I'll carry on with that. And I think what I did fail to say was about the background. Yeah, that did go in my thumbnail. Ouch, ouch, ouch. The background fabric, nice and strong. It's up to you. I went to the rag bag again for this, and I've managed to get some nice squares out of that. Nice and strong, not too worried about the background really. It could be anything, because this is not going to be shown, not going to be seen anyway, because this little project will be lined. So I'm going to carry on with this. Right, I'm going to start these at home, but I'm going to carry them to Germany with me. We're going to the Christmas markets. I always find those inspirational. Christmas markets along the Rhine. Oh, and I do love this part of Germany. I just love Germany. Germany and Birmingham, my go-to places. So you'll see these again. As I said, I'm going to carry them about with me, and hopefully get most of this done while I'm away. I think we're going for about 4 days. So I'm going to finish this here, but as you can see, it's not taking very long at all. And then after I've done them all, they'll all be pressed. And there's the back, so you can see nothing fancy, no hidden secrets. It's just dead simple to do. And don't forget, out of all your scraps. I think I can see a piece of apron here. An apron that I'm still using, but I might have needed a piece for something. But anyway, there we go. So I'm going to carry on, and the next time you see this, it could very well be on the ferry. So I'm on the ferry now, and I've laid out all my things on the table. And this is before I felt seasick, it has to be said, but it's all on the table ready to sew. So I did manage to do a little bit of sewing before I had to just sit with my head on the table. But you can see there, I brought everything I need. My daughter's now taking this. Strict instructions, don't get my stomach in the way. But it's just as I showed earlier on, so simple. That you can take it anywhere. So I did manage to do a couple on here. and that's a first completed one. Now this is a bit of self-indulgence, and just to show you a little bit of Cologne Christmas market. Obviously we're now here. I did survive that awful crossing, but it's just so lovely. Look at the beautiful stars here and the colours, how inspirational these look against the backdrop of the most beautiful cathedral. It is absolutely wonderful, and it's very unusual because it has two spires. Lovely, lovely. I've had to turn the music down, but just a little bit of the nativity scene underneath or at the bottom of the cathedral, so it's still in the Christmas market, and it's just wonderful. You'll probably see this again next year, hopefully, when I choose something for next year's or this year's Christmas project. We're back on the ferry now after having a really good time, a good break. As you can see on the screen, I have done 9 squares, and they've all completed as much as I'm going to do at the moment, but I think they need something else on them. I think they need a little bit more embellishing, perhaps where the joins are. I'm thinking of possibly putting some decorative stitchery along there. There I've crossed 2 rows of slow stitch. Not sure I really like that crisscross effect. I'm not going to do it anymore, but there's just a peep at the inside of the ferry there. This next part looks very different. It's moved on quite a lot, and it was work during the time when my PC was out of order, out of use. So what I've done, I've now going to describe how I got this far and what techniques and stitches that I've used. I've added some more stitchery, and I've added, if you can see along here, blanket stitch along some of the joins, cross stitch along others. I don't think I added any more stitches other than those 2. I decided to stick to cross stitch, blanket stitch, and I can also see some chain stitch there and single chain stitches here. Oh, and there. Goodness, yeah. I need my glasses on, I think. So that was my next step. Now from there I laid them side by side, but it all looked too fussy, so I thought, well, it's Christmas, this is going to be a gift bag. I'm going to add a bit of glitz, a little bit of red, sparkly. So first of all I edged the squares either side, just these small squares here, each one with some dark blue. Now I hand sew those together. Now if I turn it over, you'll get more of an idea what I'm talking about. You can see at the back, each of these squares here have just a little bit, the length of the square attached to the sides. So you can see it here, they're attached along there. Not the bottoms or the tops, just the sides. Now after they have been attached like this in a strip, I then made the longer ones. The longer strips here are just one strip all the way along, and they're sewn edge to edge. You can see here they're all sewn edge to edge as well. But what I failed to say, all the blue strips, I covered them first with ribbon. This is just florist ribbon. I had to take the wire out. So it's florist ribbon over the small pieces here, the same length as the square. Here, like so. And then when I had the 3 rows, 2, 3 there, I then attached another long strip, or a long strip here, once again covered with the lace. You can see there it's almost like a pocket. So I did that here, there and there, And that's as far as I got when things went pear-shaped and I had to shelve this for a while. So I'm just picking this up now, and today's date is what, the 18th of January? Oh, it's actually the 19th of January. So this is the first time I've picked this up since all the issues over Christmas with the PC and the fraud and illness and everything. So as I said earlier in the introduction, doesn't seem quite appropriate now to turn it into a gift bag for Christmas. I had thought about putting some hearts on there, and I have 9 hearts here. Here they are, which I cut from an apron. And I thought I might put some hearts on here somewhere and call it a gift bag for Valentine's Day, something like that. And then I thought, no, it's very twee, isn't it? Very, very twee. And suddenly I thought, I don't like these anymore. I don't like the red bands here. So I'm guessing I have 2 options. Now, as I showed you a minute ago, these are just like fronts here. And I could easily cut these off and expose the blues underneath. Because look, there. The dark blue there, I could just easily cut them off. Yeah, actually, could easily cut them off. That blue might look nice, or it might be too dark. So that is one option I have at this stage, to cut all that red off and make strips of fabric. This is just polyester dress fabric, and I have lined it. And I might, at this stage, I'm thinking of replacing this, just going over with something like this. I have some more here. So I think I might possibly replace these like that. And it would tone some of that red down. So that is an option. That's an option, and I have some rather nice fabric there as well, all backed to give it a nice firmness. Nice firmness here, all backed to go. Oh, that one's pretty, but I just feel I need to cover up this. It's looking garish. You know, towards the end of January now, it doesn't look Christmassy, it just looks garish. So I think I will cover that up. Now the hearts, I might put some hearts on there. I don't know if these actually need something else, or if that really might be over egging the pudding. But I've also had another thought as well about lining the back of this. I think I might line it and turn it into an envelope. You can use an envelope bag, an envelope for anything you want to use it for. I might just use that, turn that over and make some sort of envelope from it. And so that would be in the back. Anyway, that is an idea I'm playing with at the moment, but my next task is to cut the strips for here. So I want to cut them about, let's have a look, those are an inch, 1 inch, that's 2.5 centimeters, and put them down there and then secure them. I don't know, even at this stage I don't know whether to take the red off. I think I might make a start here and just see how it looks by taking the red off. Would be funny, wouldn't it, if the black or the blue just oh, look how that's coming off. That's coming off really, really easily. Got to be careful not to cut the fabric either side. Oh, oh, it's such a shame, but Christmas is gone. These won't be wasted. I'm just going to take those off. I've removed all the red ribbon now, and personally I prefer it this way. I also cut out some strips of fabric just to get an idea of what it would look like if I now covered the black with some strips. And to be honest, I don't know whether it's actually going to add anything or just make it fussy. So I think, oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I think at the moment I might leave it black, navy blue, black. Although what I could do is some surface stitchery on there. So I got a couple of ideas going on. Not too sure at this moment in time what I'm going to do. I'm just off out to the cinema in an hour to see a new film. Poor Things, I think it's called. It looks quite good. But anyway, I'm going off to see that. I shall leave this, as I normally do, hanging on the wall, and then I'll make a decision. Oh, I think I quite like this. The more I look at this, the more I think we have our design principles going on here. We have the very fussy against the plain, unfussy, relaxed calmness of the plain fabric. The texture is different. Another principle, we have a nice, even, soft, silky texture here. Against, you can hear the texture against these. Against the texture here. The colour as well, we have light, bright, against dark and plain. So it works well, I think, on the design front. We've managed to do so, well, yeah, colour, shape, square, wide against narrow, long. So yeah, I think we've covered the design principles fair enough in this, but it's just a matter of a personal taste now, which may be a bit tasteless, let's admit. Oh no, I think I might leave it like that because I've got another project on the go. I've got the next project on the go and I'm enjoying that so much. It's only at the planning stage that I need to wrap this up now. This has been all around the place. Now I do know that I'm going to put some wadding on the back, and here we are. I want an exact square. If I'm going to do an envelope, I need an exact square. So these will have to come off because the edges here on the side are throwing the shape off. It's not a square anymore, it's more of a rectangle. So I will have to cut these off to get the square, and I will put it on here, and that will be sandwiched with, I think, this. I think I'm going to line it with this. So actually the colours in here, we have this, which will actually go with this here. There's some of these muted colours. I don't think we've got any muted colours there actually. They're all rather bright. But anyway, we do have a version of those colours here, slightly muted. So I think I'm going to use this. Lots of things going on. I can tell that I haven't done this for several weeks or more because I'm all iffy and unsure. Yes, so that will be the lining, the background, the lining. That's the wadding, and then we'll have the front. The only thing I have to really address now is whether I leave these black or whether I cover them up. Okay, so I'm going off to cinema now. I'm going to leave that on the wall, and hopefully by the time I've seen the film, got back and had a look, it will all fall into place. Well, the film was a waste of time. To be honest, I thought it was a lot of rubbish. No storyline, a bit strange. I thought it was going to be something like a Frankenstein film, and the trailers looked really brilliant and made it look like a comedy. Well, it wasn't either of those. It was just, let's just say, a waste of time. We stayed for as long as we could, and then we got up and walked out. It just wasn't nice at all. So I'll leave that to your imagination. Please don't be put off by what I've had to say about it. Might be your cup of tea, but it certainly wasn't mine. Anyway, I have pressed this now. I haven't been in that long, but I've pressed this. I'm quite pleased with how that is looking. Nice and flat. I think it was the right thing to take the red off, so I'm pleased I did that. Now I have tacked the wadding on the back. As you can see here, it's been tacked all the way round. You didn't need to see me do that on the screen. So that is ready to be sandwiched with the backing or the lining. So when I come to put this on, I will put this face to face with the wadding on the back, but the two patterns, the front and the lining, will go face to face this way, right sides, and will be sewn all the way round, sort of cushion cover style, all the way round. And as usual, with just a little bit left to pull it through, but that's a bit of a way off yet. I now need to have a look and see whether this needs anything in the way of stitching. Do I need to leave it plain for the contrast? Let's pull that up a bit. Do I need to leave that plain for the contrast, or should I add something to it? So with that in mind, I'm going to finish here for a while now, take it away again. I'm very tempted to put the hearts on, those small hearts that I showed you earlier. I might actually add a heart or two. Bearing in mind this will be the centrepiece, as I said earlier, of what will be an envelope. That must be about the centre, like this, like that. So that will be the centre. Do I need to put something here? Hearts. Do I need to embellish just this bit then? Just here? So still a little bit to think about, but it's Friday night, my dinner's cooking, cinema, waste of time as I said, but I'm going to curl up on the setting now. Okay, so next time you see this, hopefully I'll have made the decision as to whether I put stitching here down the dark side, and the backing might be sewn on or it might be tacked. Okay, so we'll just watch this space to see what happens. And my nails have now been varnished. What difference? What I've done, I've got as far as tacking the three pieces together, the wadding on the outside, the facing, the front on the inside, facing the right side of the lining. So we've got the two pieces of fabric right sides together and tacked together with the wadding all the way around the four edges, with just an opening here, just hand size, to help pull the inside to the outside after it's been machine sewn. So my next task here is to machine sew it all the way round, starting here and finishing there, making sure that I leave that gap for my hand. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. Now it's been sewn all the way around the edge, I'm going to start taking the tacking out, and I also want to trim some of this wadding back, and the tacking will stop me getting as close as I need to. So I just pull all that out, and after I've done that, I'll trim this off here, and then I will cut into the corners like this, and that's going to make it easier to pull through and get a nice sharp corner. Can you see that? What have I cut off? Just cut that off, which stops the corner there from being bulky. But whatever you do, try not to trim too close to the stitching, because you will cut through it. I've had students who've done that, cut through, and then look sort of, oh, look what I've done, look what I've done. It's not the end of the world, but it just makes life easier if you don't cut into the sewing. So that's the last of the corners. So that has now been trimmed all the way around. Next thing to do is pull it in through the gap, or pull it out through the gap, so my hand goes just nicely inside. I'm going to grab the far corners first and pull it out, and because the gap's quite big, it's coming through nice, very, very nice. It's coming through nice and easy. Right. So at the moment it's beginning to look just like a cushion cover. Want something to push the corners out with. Right, I'm going to use this pen and pull those out. If you haven't got a pen, a needle will do. Right, so just going to pull that out. You can see how sharp that's coming out, but once again, don't push too hard. So there we go, another nice sharp point, and one there. One there. So what have we got so far? Aha, yes, yes, I like the look of that. Pull that up to hide the keys. Right, now we have to sew up the gap. I should sew up the gap and then give this a nice press around the edge. Could actually do that first, it would make sewing up this gap a bit easier, but I'm not going to do that, the iron's elsewhere. Now fold this back like so along the natural seam allowance, so it runs neatly right the way through. There's no bulky bits sticking out because you're just taking it along where the sewing machine would sew. So we've got sewing machine stitches here. I'm just going to fold it there where the sewing machine stitches would be, and then that is going to be over sewn with very small stitches. I'll over sew from one end to the other end. Right, so the over sewing has been done. There wasn't much to do really, just very small stitches from one side to the other all across the gap. So this has now been finished. I did play around with a few ideas for embellishing, but I think there's enough at the moment, and I just want to finish it now. So the next part is to find the middle of the back, and the best way of doing that, I did it with a piece of thread. I just laid one piece there, and where they crossed I've done one single knot, and it goes right the way through from the front to the back, and I've just knotted it, and that'd be quite easy to pull out. So that is the the centre, and I'm going to bring up 3 of these points to that centre and pin them. Now I've no idea where my pins are, so I'm going to use some sewing needles. Right, the point is on here. Where are we? On there. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. Problem is I'm staring out of the window here. There's a lot of stuff going on down there that I feel I need to be part of. But right, so that goes there, and I'm going to just pin that in place there with this old bent pin. Well, it's not a pin, it's a needle. Pin that there, and then I'm going to move around and bring this one up as well, so that should meet the knot there and also the point there, and then I'm going to pin that there. Well, oh, I'm off screen, sorry. So I'm going to pin that there, just to hold that in. So that is already looking like the back of an envelope, and luckily these match along here. So as you imagine, I don't need to tell you, that will eventually come down there and form the envelope. So that's what we have at the moment, and that will be the front. So we've got them here, here. Yeah, it's pretty much central. Make that a bit smaller, and then you can probably see. Yeah, the pin is actually pulling. Oh, this bit isn't pinned, so that is the flap, and it's just, it isn't lying flat because it isn't pinned. So there we are. Now I'm going to over sew along here and along there. The over sewing is really just very, very tiny stitches from one side to the other. Now I've decided on a brown colour because I've used a lot of brown in the long stitch or the slow stitch, and I think the brown blends in better with all these colours. But really you could take a colour out from your front, from all the pieces that you've used, and just use the favourite colour from there. But I'm going to carry on to the end. I can see the end might be a bit bulky, but as soon as I've done this I'll get back to you. And it's finished. It's been on a long journey, and it's come a long way from gift bag to envelope. It's gone through Christmas, and it's gone through a couple of little traumas with me, but it is now finished. So the back and the front. Now the front, all I've done for an opening, I've taken this off a bag I had, and it is just a leather flower. That's all. You can easily make one of these from a stiff piece of fabric. This happens to be leather. Taken that off. I've taken a little bit of the cord that it was on here, and I've back stitched it down. Just a few stitches along there, and this, and the knot at the end of the cord is securing this flower. Now I also made a rouleau loop. Now you don't have to make a rouleau loop. You could use a piece of elastic, a piece of ribbon, hair band, hair elastic. I just made a quick rouleau loop by folding in a piece of narrow fabric, and if you can see tiny little oversew stitches there, and I oversewed one end. That's the inside. There we go, nicely lined, and I'm quite pleased with that. So to do it up, that will go in there. So as I said, it's taken a long time to get it from November, from the original Christmas gift bag to this, but I got there in the end. At one time I didn't think I would, so I'm quite pleased that that's done and dusted. Now what I did do though, I have managed to take out some, well, most of the ribbon that was stuck between the stitches along here, but those I can't take out, I've left. And from here, it's just offering a little bit of a twinkle in various places. Doesn't look unsightly. It looks as if it's meant to be there. Well, that notices. But there, finished. Now, just before I sign off, that's the finished one. There's also another one here. I didn't make this. A friend's mother made this. It isn't quite the same way. It's being made up the same way with the wadding, but it's a different technique. But this is just something else that you could do. It has the envelope here, but it's actually a rectangular piece that's been brought up, folded and machine sewn. So it's lined. It has the envelope one end, the point of the envelope one end, the other end is just a rectangle, and it's brought up and then brought over. So there are actually two versions there. This one though, it's all scraps again, so I think it'll probably be another year. 24 will probably be another year of scraps. Okay, so I do hope you enjoyed that. I'm really sorry that it's itty bitty, it's taken so long, but I hope you understand why, and I'm sure you do. So I hope you like the bakewell tart one as well, the short. That was just really to get me back in the mood, and it was like just something to let you all see that I hadn't dropped off the face of the earth. Okay, so if you like that, and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and speak to you all soon. Okay, now take care, keep safe wherever you are. Okay, and I will see you soon.